All right, what's up, everybody? Happy happy Thursday. Good to see everybody. I am Dr. Jeff Moore, currently serving as the CEO of ICE. I am lead faculty for the cervical and lumbar spine division. Always great to be here with you on a Leadership Thursday. And of course, every time it's a Leadership Thursday, it's a Gut Check Thursday. So we've got a Gut Check Thursday this week. We've got in 15 minutes, you are going to complete 30 calories on the assault bike, 300 meters on the ski erg, and 350 meters on the row. Now, the idea this week is it's anaerobic stress, right? So we want breaks in between. Maximum unpaced movement, all out on whatever erg you want, and then moving on to the next one after a couple of minutes when you're ready to go all out again. So want to challenge that anaerobic capacity and really push all of these erg machines, the assault bike, the ski erg, and the rower. So please tag us, Ice Train, Ice Physio. Let us know how that goes for you this week. As far as courses coming up, got a bunch of them this week. This weekend, Justin Dunaway is doing total spine thrust over in New York, Hopewell Junction. Jordan Berry is out in Santa Barbara, California, rocking lumbar spine. And then next weekend, we've got two fitness athlete courses in Kansas City, and then in Hollywood, Florida. We also have cervical spine in Greenville, South Carolina. So hit up any of those if interested. All right, team. This is Leadership Thursday, and we're often asked about how to recognize leadership. And I've done different episodes over the years on this topic, but I've got one I really want to share with you today. I've thought a lot about this. And I think it's worth having a conversation. There's a distinction that needs to be made, so let's make it. Now, we first have to acknowledge that your ability to recognize great leadership is going to be incredibly predictive of your overall career success, right? There's no situation more fortunate than winding up with yourself in the ranks of great leadership, right? There's very obvious things that you can take note of that happen. Your efforts are recognized and they're utilized, right? Your weaknesses are identified, but always with action plans to eradicate them, right? You're not perfect, but you're growing towards it. Culture is consistently positive, it's collaborative, it's synergistic. Information is transparent. You feel you understand the why and the how, right? These are some very classic things that are recognizable when great leadership is in the midst. But there's a lot of invisible things that are happening. And I think that's where if people understood that more, they would realize how important it is that they seek out and hunt down great leadership to get in the ranks of. Some of these things, and I speak from being at a lot of different tables over the past few years, doing a lot of consulting, just talking to a lot of people who are in different organizations, being able to kind of see into the window of what great leadership looks like. A lot of things are happening you aren't seeing when you're underneath great leadership. Your talents in your future are often being thought of with new partnerships, with new market opportunities, right? Words like this are always being thrown around. Hey, I wonder if so and so could open up that branch, right? I wonder if this person could do this new task. I wonder if we move this way, we could bring that person up. People are thinking of you all the time when you're not even aware of it, right? Great leaders are always looking for where they can put their talent so their talent can grow, right? They can foster that. And those conversations aren't being talked about right publicly, but they're always going on. When you're underneath great leadership, you're being surrounded by team members who are complementary for your talents and your weaknesses. You don't wind up around the right people, right? The right people are being put around you, right? All you notice is things seem to be working really well, right? It's invisible changes that are positively affecting your ability to thrive. Things that would stress you out. We all have certain areas that we don't have a lot of capacity to absorb stuff in. Great leadership finds a way for those things to be absorbed by other people. They don't tend to wind up on your plate. This is why people who are underneath great leadership often feel more energized. Part of what they don't realize is happening is things that would have stressed them out in particular are being taken over by others. I'm really realizing a goal of a truly great leader is to silently facilitate an optimal environment for each individual's development. A lot of that is going on that isn't even being seen. My point is that great leadership is worth hunting down for all the things that you recognize about great leadership and all the things that are going on that you don't even see and don't even need to see when great leadership is in your midst. Give it some thought how important it is, and then give some thought to recognizing it, right? How do you recognize great leadership? The biggest thing that I can say about this is you don't recognize a great leader by their successes, but by the successes of those they've led. Don't show me, don't, if you want to convince me someone's a great leader, don't tell me what they've done. Tell me what the people they've trained have done, because that's what leadership is, right? It's not about what they've done. It's about what have they enabled other people to do. So the question you want to ask is, who are the three people this person has trained that have wound up where I dream of being? That's your $1,000,000 question. When on the hunt for great leadership, your $1,000,000 question is, who are the three people this person has trained that have wound up where I dream of being? Do not get enamored by the individual success, but by the successes of those they've trained, because that's going to be you, right? That's the question you need to ask. What this question does is it separates leaders from performers. And this is the most challenging and important task. You are separating leaders from performers. That person with 1,000,000 Instagram followers or podcast subscribers or whatever platform whose content you love, right? But you can't honestly think of anyone who he or she has mentored up, who has risen well beyond themselves. That person is not a leader. That person is a performer. And this is critical because the time and energy that you put into that person will not elevate you, it will elevate them. Remember, you can't name anybody they've lifted up, and plenty of people have followed them, plenty of people have put their time and attention to them, but it's not that case, right? It's not about elevating those people who are following, it's about the leader putting on a show, right? Great performers take your time, your attention, and they return a great show. And that can be a very positive transaction as long as you understand the ground rules. That distinction, if you fully understand it, your ability to separate great leaders from great performers should really dictate where you put a lot of your attention, a lot of your time, a lot of your grind, because those two individuals could not be more different. If you're looking for great leadership, what you want to look for is institutions, clubs, associations, whatever, right, who are turning out one star after another. In many cases, you're not even sure who's running the operation, right? All you know is the name of the people who are coming out of it. In this way, leaders and performers are often polar opposites, right? In this scenario, you can't even name the leader. All you can name is the people who are being generated from that system, who are going on to do all the things that you dream of doing. In the performer scenario, you can certainly name the name of the performer. You just can't name the name of anybody who's come out of the system led by the performer. In that way, these two things, while they seem so similar on the front end, right? When you look at, in many cases, when you're seeking out leadership, this can be a confusing distinction. There can be similarities, but when you look at this one question, things are different. Enjoy them both, right? Do not mishear me. There's nothing better than a great performer, right? There's in so many ways that enriches your life. Enjoy both of them, but if you're seeking development over entertainment, you need a leader, not a performer. Give that some thought, right? Are you following the right people, right? What are you trying to get from that relationship? Your energy and your time are finite. Where you put them is going to directly result in your success or lack thereof, your development or lack thereof. That needs to be given some thought. Yeah, Dr. Meg, I see your question there. In this scenario, is mentor and leader the same person? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that leaders tend to be great mentors, right? Which is why they turn out one person elevated after another. No question about it. Good. Roll that around, team. I think often we get confused. I think often we get enamored by great performers, right? And we mistake them for leaders until we pause and say, well, hold on. Let me think of some people that person has really developed over the past few years who have went on to do great things. And all of a sudden in your mind, it's crickets. And what you realize is that person's posing as a leader, but they're really a performer. Just be careful how much time, energy, attention you give those individuals, because nobody's gotten anything out of them yet from a development perspective. Not saying it's not there from an entertainment perspective. Just know what you're getting in each transaction. That's the key to moving forward efficiently. Cool. Speaking of leaders, before I sign off, speaking of great leaders, I have got to throw a bone out there to Patrick Ford and Elijah Muhammad of Project Onyx, and I want to announce this. ICE is going to be matching dollar for dollar up to $10,000 to support Project Onyx, which if you have not followed yet, go check those guys out in Des Moines, Iowa. They are bringing fitness, right, and health to that community, in particular, those who are underserved within it, and creating unbelievable opportunities. As an organization, there's nothing we're more behind than making sure everybody has equal opportunity access to health and fitness. And people like Patrick and Elijah are creating that in Des Moines. We've got to find these organizations that are leading like this, and we've got to get behind them. So the week of the games, next week, we are going to match dollar for dollar up to $10,000 every donation to Project Onyx to fuel their efforts. And we hope that those kind of efforts can be replicated at scale across the country. So regardless of your background, regardless of your finances, you have an access to fitness and leadership like these men are providing over in Des Moines, Iowa. Please check that out. We can't say enough about Project Onyx. We can't say enough about Patrick and Elijah. We hope that our contribution can facilitate all they're doing over there in Des Moines. Team, have an awesome Thursday. I hope this made some sense this morning. I hope the distinction between leader and performer becomes one that becomes clear to you, so your efforts and investments get magnified in the way you're hoping they will. Have a wonderful Thursday, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.